It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. This is gonna be a death predictions video for the second half of Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. We're gonna look at who's most likely to die in the second half of Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. What's very interesting is I was actually going to do this video before I saw the trailer for the second half of Season 6, way before that, but after watching the trailer for the second half, it kind of changed the direction I was gonna go with this video. But obviously for those of you who have not watched the trailer, go check it out. I already did a breakdown of that trailer. It's on the channel. You can go check it out. There was one scene in particular in the trailer that rubbed me the wrong way. It kind of disappointed me for several reasons. Before I even get into why it disappointed me, if you have not noticed already, this looks identical to the scene that we saw on the Walking Dead's original show with the Negan clearing scene at the end of Season 6, Episode 16, when Negan showed up, lined everyone up on their knees, and proceeded to punish them. Obviously, he ended up punishing two people, both Glenn and Abe. So if we put these two side by side, we can definitely see the similarities. Now, in terms of who's lined up, in the case of Fear the Walking Dead, we have Danny Salazar, Luciana, Sarah, and Gracie. Before I even jump into my death predictions part of this video, I do want to mention that this video is not just the death predictions for this lineup scene. It also includes characters that are not necessarily in the lineup, but I'm going to talk about whether I think they're safe or not. So it's a more general death predictions. And it's not just the death predictions for this lineup here. But in terms of why I was disappointed about this, there's actually 3 reasons why I was disappointed about seeing a sort of lineup scene in Fear the Walking Dead. The first reasoning is that it's a ripoff of The Walking Dead's original show. So there's no creativity there. There's no element of surprise in a way. So much like The Walking Dead, we definitely know at this point now that a villainous type of character, most likely Virginia, is gonna show up and wants to punish one of the survivors. So in terms of creativity and the element of surprise and making it original, it definitely doesn't have any of that because we know what's gonna be coming up. Unless they do something that's super unrealistic. I'll actually get to that in a minute. But the second reason why I was disappointed is because it was in the trailer. Maybe if they just showed this to me in the episode, I would have been less mad or disappointed. But the fact that they have it in the trailer and they're hyping it up to be this big thing rubs me the wrong way because, like I said, it's not original, so they're pretty much piggybacking off of what worked on The Walking Dead's original show. Well, worked is a strong word because I don't think it worked on The Walking Dead's original show the way they wanted it to. I think it had a negative impact, but depending on who you ask, that opinion may be different. The third reason why I was disappointed is because this falls in a long period of hiatus from half season to half season. So again, to me, it sounds like they are trying to piggyback off of that hysteria that came up at the end of Season 6 of The Walking Dead that got fans on the internet going crazy with speculations and theories about who died and who didn't die. And I feel like the showrunners are trying to do something similar and trying to get the fans or bait the fans into these theories and predictions and speculations about who's gonna die, who's gonna live with this particular scene. So going back to the originality discussion, it's definitely not original. And to make things even worse, the hiatus that we have for this particular instance is longer. Obviously, because of the delays that have been happening, the second half of Fear the Walking Dead is not going to air until Q2 of 2021. So that's definitely a longer period of hiatus than how long we had to wait for on the original Walking Dead show at the end of Season 6, Episode 16 to see who dies. I think that makes things even worse. Now, some of you may say they didn't know that there was going to be this long delay. Well, I agree with you, they didn't know that there's going to be this long delay, but at the same time, they did not need to put this in the trailer. The fact that they have it in the trailer means that they wanted people to jump on it and talk about it a lot. I don't want to get into like a tangent here and go on a rant, but I'm just super disappointed with the decision that they made as far as this particular scene is concerned. Now, you may say the same thing about this video, saying that I'm kind of piggybacking off of that and making this video to speculate who's gonna die. But like I said before, I planned to do this death predictions video before I saw the trailer, so I'm not jumping on this wave. And aside from my quote-unquote death predictions for this lineup, I do have a death predictions for other characters that are not in this lineup. So I'm definitely not jumping on that wave. And this video will be the first and final time I will talk about this lineup scene. So with that said, let's jump right into it. So like I said earlier, it's definitely going to be Virginia who's going to be the one that wants to punish the group. As we see here, we have a moment from the exact same scene, and we have Virginia pointing her gun at an injured Danny Salazar. So we definitely know that Danny Salazar is going to be injured. He may not die, but he's going to be injured. And that's a big gash on his head. But it's Danny Salazar. He got shot in the face. I'm sure he'll be fine. Going back to the discussion about who's going to die and who's not going to die. As far as Danny Salazar is concerned, I think that Danny Salazar is probably going to be safe. They're risking a lot by killing Danny Salazar because Danny Salazar is one of the most popular characters on Fear at the moment. And obviously he left and came back, so I feel like it's not a wise choice to kill him unless the actor wants to leave. Because obviously, in the case of Nick and Travis, their death was a direct result of the actors wanting to leave. So I think unless the actor wants to leave, it's a bad idea to kill Danny Salazar. So I think he's safe. Then we have Gracie here in the lineup. Now in terms of Gracie, I think she's also safe. I don't think Fear is gonna risk losing Gracie because she's the connective tissue that Morgan has to the survivors right now in terms of wanting to get everyone back. Let's be honest. He would save Gracie even if it means not necessarily saving everybody else. So I think because of that, Gracie is going to be safe. And also, I don't think AMC has the balls, for lack of a better word, to kill off a pregnant woman like this in a lineup situation. And a classic example is Maggie on the original show. She was also on the original lineup in season 6 episode 16 of The Walking Dead, and they did not end up killing her. One of the key reasons for that was because it was too much. And I think that in this case, it's one too much and two unnecessary. And because of that, I feel like Gracie is safe. Then we have Luciana and Sarah, who are also, of course, in the lineup. In terms of Luciana and Sarah, I think any of them could actually die. I don't see them doing much more with these two characters. And I think for Sarah specifically, killing her means that they can push Wendell, her brother's story, further than where it's been so far. So because of that, I feel like she might be a fair and easy kind of pick for someone who might get killed as punishment. Now, as far as Luciana's concerned, I think they could go both ways with it. They could kill her, but I feel like she also has her own kind of fan base. So she may or may not be a good pick in terms of a safe character to kill. But it also depends on how big they want to go with this death. If they want to kill someone huge, then they would have to go with someone like Danny Salazar or Luciana. Killing someone like Sarah would not really have the same impact for the audience. Now, with all of that said, do I really think that they're gonna kill someone off in the lineup scene? As much as I hate to say this, I don't think that they're gonna kill anyone. I think the lineup scene on Fear is only a publicity stunt. Only to get fans to think they're gonna kill someone, but they're not gonna kill anyone. I could definitely see this lineup scene ending in a way where Morgan shows up at the last second to kill Virginia and save everyone else. I hope I'm wrong because that's a little cheesy and too convenient, but I feel like it looks like they might do that because Morgan has been the one that shows up at the last second to save everyone so far. Now, in terms of what's next after that, when Virginia dies, well, I think that's where the other stories are going to come in. As far as the end is the beginning bunch that we keep hearing about and we keep seeing them spray paint the messages. In short, I think Sarah and Luciana are at risk of dying as far as the lineup bunch is concerned. But even that, I think, is unlikely. I think that a more likely scenario is one where Morgan is actually going to save everyone in the lineup. But with all of that said, let's move on to the other characters. Now, I'm not going to go through all the other characters, but I'm just going to go through some of the characters I think may die coming up in the second half, or there is a reason why they might want to kill them off. First up is Victor Strand. The way they've had Victor Strand's story go so far has been towards a darker path. So I could definitely see for them to do one of two things. Either redeem him and have him come back and kind of save everyone, which is generic. It's been done multiple times before. We even had like Victor Strand do the same exact thing to a lesser extent multiple times in the last few seasons. So because of that, I think that that's probably not where they want to go with it. The other way I could see them going with it is having Victor actually turn into the bad guy, for him to be killed at some point. I think that that might be a more interesting and more kind of shocking way for the story to go. So as far as Victor Strand is concerned, I think that he's definitely one to watch in terms of a potential death coming up. Next up, we have Al here. I don't think there's much more story to be told for Al. I think the only thing that kind of Al has at this point as far as story is what connects her back to the CRM. That's the only kind of connective tissue that she has to the story. Other than that, she's not doing anything important. She's not doing anything interesting. So she's definitely one that might end up getting killed, depending on what plans they have for her in the future. Now, as far as the CRM is concerned, it doesn't look like they're going to be back because they did make like a quick cameo earlier on in the season, but we've never seen them again after, and it doesn't look like they're going to be a part of the story for Fear the Walking Dead anymore. So that leads me to think that she's probably not going to connect back to the CRM, which means that she's probably going to be a kind of free-floating character, a character that they could just kill off with little to no repercussions for the story and for impact to the audience. Now, the other part of it is there was this speculation that came out a while back that Isabel was actually Elizabeth's daughter. Elizabeth being Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth Kublek of the CRM, but obviously at this point that can't be because they did reveal on World Beyond that Elizabeth's daughter is actually Huck. So that theory is kind of out the window. I'm definitely super disappointed about that because that would have been a more interesting way for the story to go, I feel. But that's definitely not going to happen. Next up is Dwight. Dwight is a tricky one because they can do several things with him. But I feel like if they really want to go with a huge death, he could be one to go. And I feel like his death could be one that has the most impact to the story right now. Because there's the Sherry component of it. There's the other survivors component of it. Like how they're going to be impacted by it. Also, there's the Morgan component of it. How he's going to be impacted and how he's going to fit into that story. And also, it'll be a huge death because it has a connective tissue to The Walking Dead's original show. And then last but not least is John Dory. I think John is also one that has a chance of getting killed. At this point, I feel like he might not die, but at the same time, he might be like a shocking death that they might give us sometime during the second half of Season 6. If they end up killing any of the other major characters that I mentioned, then John is definitely safe. But if they don't, then John might be the one to go because his story has kind of come to an end in a way. There isn't really anywhere else his story can go unless they do something drastic with where his story is going. But with that said, that's pretty much all of the characters I wanted to talk about in this video. But I am interested to know everyone's thoughts and opinions. Who do you think is gonna die in the second half of Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead? And also, what do you think of the lineup scene? Do you like it or do you hate it? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to share and smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.